And welcome back to OCD Coded. My name's Erin Brown. I'm a therapist and I have OCD myself. And my hope with this is to help you turn your OCD into a superpower. I am struggling with words today, and I'm sorry it's been a minute since I've posted a video or anything. I've been definitely going through some of my own OCD stuck points, and one thing, I can't remember if I talked about this before, but I have a friend who likes to talk about OCD like a jellyfish. So it's like my jellyfish is attached to this thing over here. And if as soon as I resolve this rock or whatever the jellyfish is attached to, it's going to float around for a little while, then it's going to attach to something else. And if I'm not paying attention or if I don't know that's my OCD, I'm going to be like, oh God, what's this new thing I'm doing? And why am I stuck here? But I've kind of trained myself to recognize, like, okay, if I'm getting stuck, I'm like, oh, here's my jellyfish. What is it stuck on right now? Like, what is my fear? What is going on? And then I can focus in on that. And a big thing I've learned about OCD is you can only do one thing at a time. And so focusing on one symptom at a time actually helps all the other symptoms. And it's been amazing to me. It surprises me every time that that helps. But like the overwhelming part is we try to fix everything at one time and then we get bad, like beat up on ourselves and mad at ourselves about, oh, I can't do it. It's like, well, you're trying to do too much, babe. Like, it's gonna be okay. Let's take a breath. And so breaking it into those smaller steps, and that's part of like this exposure therapy, but it's also like just one thing at a time. Let's focus on one thing at a time, and I promise you'll get more done. And that's another thing I do because I struggle with depression also. And so when I'm in a depressive episode, I call it do no harm mode on my life. Like I go into do no harm mode, which means I can only do what has to be done today. I only maybe have one big push of energy a day to do anything. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do whatever has to be done today. And then whatever else is going to get done or it's not. And then tomorrow I'll do one more thing. And I was really shocked what the first time I tried that, how much more I got done by instead of like saving it all up for 4 hours on the weekend or whatever it was, just doing one thing a day, taking a step, acknowledging the progress and then moving forward. And I think that's such a hard thing with OCD. And another thing I was thinking about recently with an in session was that whole idea. So much of the research and stuff talks about that OCD's biggest fear is the unknown, that it doesn't want the unknown, and that the compulsion is anything to reduce that fear of the unknown. Um, and while I do still think that's true, I had a client recently say, that really they fear the experience more than they fear the unknown. That in some ways there does come a point like we want to know what's going to happen, but almost what's even scarier than that is doing the thing and not being able to do it well, or not succeeding in whatever way when I try a thing. And this can overlap so much with ADD as well. But I just was really thinking about it in that sense of like the fear of the unknown is really hard. And so it's the unknown of can I do it or not? And so, but then that fear, like if I do a thing, I will find out if I can do it or not. And so like then it becomes the compulsion is it like the fear is finding out I can't do this thing. And so the compulsion is to not do the thing because then I'll have found out one way or another. And another way I see OCD do this is by going ahead and assuming it's our fault. Like it almost is easier to assume it's our fault and that we're wrong or bad because then we can fix it. We can do something about it. I can change. I can do my penance, whatever that is for the certain person. Um, but that doesn't work. And that's the whole thing of recognizing that it is not something wrong with us. But there's usually an obsession with OCD about time and about capability and about morality in some kind of way, about like who decides what is right and what is wrong and how do we follow those rules, um, and and how difficult that can be. But it also led me into thinking some about you know, about this idea of performing life and how I think so many people now are starting to stop performing life and just being like just living life instead of performing it. And it's might not sound like that big of a difference, but I think of like just all the um I don't want to say lies, but like the things I was sold about, like this will make you happy, and then feeling like it's not, and that constant OCD of feeling misunderstood and feeling misperceived, and like everyone's like, "Oh, why is this such a big deal to you?" And then we can't explain it, but that doesn't mean it's not legit, and that's such a big part of it. And so I think with the masking that happens with OCD and neurodivergence and all of that, that it becomes really hard because it's like, okay, I'm gonna mask and I'm gonna do the right things and then I'll be happy and then we're not. And like, and that's the performing life instead of living it is wearing the mask. But it's also just thinking like OCD just obsesses about like, is this the right experience I'm having? Am I feeling the right way? Or I should be feeling more sad than I am, or I should be feeling more happy. And then we get all in our heads about this is how I should feel instead of just, this is how I feel right now. And I found it really helpful to say, like, let's start from the place of our needs and our feelings are valid. That, they're valid. It doesn't mean they're true. Just because I feel something doesn't mean, just because I feel someone wronged me doesn't always mean they did, or if I'm alone, that doesn't mean I'm going to be alone forever. Like, but I feel like I'm going to be alone forever, but that it's still legitimate, you know, it's valid. And that's why I start with my needs and my feelings are valid. They might not get met. My needs might not always get met, and most often will not. And it's not others' jobs. It's not others people's jobs to fulfill my need. And but then and that not all are going to get met, but I can work to try and get some of my needs met. And how that might be and how that might play out. And so I've heard it said a couple different times that authenticity is the new currency. And I feel very that resonates with me quite a lot. And so I'm trying to be a little more just all of that too, like in stopping performing life, not trying to make my hair and everything perfect before I get on a video or get the lighting just right, even though it's hard for me to focus sometimes because I'll catch a view of me and then I'm like, oh God. Um, and so, but that's the whole point is like this is what I look like right now in this moment. And I'm just gonna live that. Like I'm just gonna be who I am in this moment. And that's gonna come with mistakes or like and there will be some things I can't do. And that's another part to kind of wrap it around to the beginning is like I have to realize that it's okay to not be able to do things or it's okay to make mistakes. And we're got to smash these illusions that one day I'll be perfect, or one day if I just work hard enough, I won't be depressed ever again, or just all of these illusions, or one day, this will feel easy, and like maybe it'll feel easier, but the point of it is we just keep practicing in that, living, and can we come back to this moment? Can we come back to today? And can we per stop performing life and live it? Just be authentic, be ourselves and the hard part about that too is letting other people be themselves because then it's like, okay, this is right for me, and that might not be right for you, but I want you to be able to be yourself and I can be myself. And that whole cup of tea thing always resonated with me about like you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay, that there's millions of ways to do a cup of tea, and there's no way for everyone on the planet to like the same one thing, and how to embrace that kind of feeling of I'm not meant to be liked by everybody. I'm not meant to save everybody. I'm not meant to be perfect. I'm meant to live. I'm meant to be here and to live and to learn and to try again. And so those are my thoughts for today. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts too and other things that you want to hear about more in the future. I hope y'all are doing okay out there. See you again soon. Bye.